How do you create a workout program on Ekklo? Ekklo is the simplest and most effective tool for creating your first programs, and it's also the most important and most used feature by fitness coaches. And today, I'm going to show you how to easily create your first workout program in just 10 minutes. So here we are on Ekklo, and to create our first workout program, you just need to click on the Sport tab at the top left. And here actually, you'll see 3 sections. So you'll have your sport templates, which means you can create program templates. You can also create session templates as well as circuit templates. We'll cover that in another video. Also, at the top right, you can access your exercise library, as well as everything related to load units and repetitions, which we'll also go over in another video. First, let's create our first workout program. To do that, just click Create a new template on the top right. Once that's done, you'll have 2 types of programs. You'll use the day-based program. The day-based program is a calendar system where sessions follow sequentially until an end date. Then there's also the cycle-based program. So what is it? With this, your client has a list of standard sessions, like a push-pull legs routine, and it's up to them to choose when they do them. Let's say they can't go on Monday, well, they can still do it on Tuesday. They get to decide more or less their own training days. Next, once we've chosen the program, so for example, let's select a day-based program, we can give it a title like beginner program. And we can also choose the duration of the program. So we can set it in weeks, days, or months. I'm going to set it in weeks, and for example, I'll put 3 weeks, which is 21 days for the program. And you can also, if you want, add tags. It's not mandatory, but it's possible. So for example, beginner strength, you can put whatever you like. This will help you find your program templates more easily. Once that's done, we'll click on create a template and you'll be automatically taken to the program and session creation area for your clients. As you can see, we have a very simple calendar with each day of the week for 3 weeks, since we already set the program to last 3 weeks. At the top left, you'll see the name of the program. And at the bottom right, you'll be able to duplicate it, which we'll look at later, and view the program as a calendar, either by weeks or by months, depending on your preference. And just above, we have the session preview, which will be coming very soon to Ekklo. So here, concretely, what is the session preview? You will be able to see directly in your coach account what your client will see in their mobile app. And next to it, we have the settings, which will allow you to modify the title if you want, the tags, and also to send it to your client. So now, to create a session, it's super simple. You just left click on the empty session and you'll be taken straight to the session creation screen. So on the left, you'll have the sports exercises along with a filter to help you more easily find your own exercises, your favorite exercises, or filter by body part, target area, or equipment. So you'll have all the available exercises. If you want to zoom in further, you can just left click and you'll see the exercise details. And finally, to add it to the session, you just need to drag and drop. As soon as that's done, you can see that the exercise has been added to the session. So the session is called day 1. How can we name it? For example, push day. Now that we've just added the exercise to the session, we need to configure it. So we'll click on the arrow on the right and open the exercise. We have various load types: percentage, calories, kilometers per hour, 1 rep max, RPE in levels or kilos, and body weight. You can choose whichever you prefer. For repetitions, we offer time in seconds, intervals, RIR, or max reps. Additionally, you can create your own custom load and repetition units, which we will cover in a future video. Next, set the rest time. For example, 60 seconds between sets. Interestingly, Ekklo allows you to personalize each session in the app. So you can see on the right that there is the execution tempo. For example, you could enter 1, 2, 1 here. So your client will have this interface in the app and will also get an explanation of what it is. Because not all clients really know what tempo means. So we'll also explain to them what it is, each time including the total time under tension. So you can add series notes or session notes at the top right, add a note. Here, you can enter a session note, a workout note as we call it. Write whatever you want here. Don't push too much to failure. You can also configure the machine's settings yourself. For example, if your client is doing incline bench presses at 20 degrees at basic fit, you can tell them, don't set it at 20 degrees, set it at 30 or 10 instead. So let's imagine now that your client goes to a gym and it's way too crowded at 6 or 7 in the evening. You can add exercise variations yourself. That way, at least if your client sees that the machine is taken, well, they know what to do instead and you'll always be aware of what they're doing. So let's imagine that we want to choose an alternative to the vertical pull exercise with a neutral grip. We can click on add, for example, a seated row on the machine. So here you can also set up the weights, repetitions, sets, tempo, set notes, etc. You set it up however you like. You can also add several of them. Now that we've set up the variations of the exercise in question, we can now increase the number of sets. So for example, I'll put 4 sets and then you'll see that the 4 sets have been duplicated each time with the tempo, etc. Of course, if you want to save time when creating programs, you can already set the repetitions in advance. Like here, for example, 100 repetitions, and you can duplicate each time and each set will be duplicated with the same settings as the first set. So there you go. Each time the repetitions from the first set, the rest time from the first set, the tempo, the notes, etc., everything will be duplicated at the same time. Once that's done, if you want, you can also create your own exercises directly in the programming section by clicking here, create an exercise. And here you can create the name of the exercise, add a video, a YouTube link, a GIF, or an image. Specify the body part, targeting, and equipment as you create a program. At the bottom right, see the estimated workout duration based on sets and rest time. Plus, on the app, we can create circuit training workouts. So how do you do it? You just have to drag and drop one exercise onto another to automatically create a circuit, a superset, or a triset. And if you want to convert anything to Tabata or EMOM, you just right click and you'll have different options. So we'll have EMOM, Tabata, EMOM, and the 4 sign, which will be coming very soon. And you can also, if you want, duplicate the circuit and reuse it. So how do you do it? You just, for example, select EMOM, and there you go. The circuit will be transformed into an EMOM, and then you can configure everything as you go along. Once our session is finished, we can then add our exercises. Now we can move up a gear and head back to the very beginning. And so now our session will be properly set up for Monday. If you want, you can just right click. You can simply edit it. You can also duplicate it for the same day. On close, you can also schedule several sessions on the same day. That's no problem. But you can also copy it, mark it as a rest day, and also save it as a template. We'll also cover that in a future video. Now, what you can do is copy and paste each session and set a rest day. When creating a program, you can add separators if you want. So you'll find that at the top left under separators. And so here, you can add blocks of programs or sessions yourself. For example, I could put start of session here at the top at the beginning. I could also add end of session so that your client will have a clear overview of their session. Now that we've created our first session, what we're going to do is duplicate it, copy and paste it into the following sessions. We're also going to add the rest days. So now we'll have a sample first week with each day from Monday to Sunday showing the training days and rest days that the client can follow directly through the app. So now, how do we duplicate this week for the following weeks? Since here, we can see that we have 3 weeks of training. We just need to click on duplicate at the top right. And then we'll have 2 options. Either we duplicate to the next week, so the same week will be copied over, or even simpler, we can choose duplicate to all the following weeks. Which means that from the first week to the 3rd week, we'll have exactly the same sessions. So we're going to select duplicate to all weeks. And now all the weeks will be properly duplicated until the end of the program. Once the program is done and everything is okay, we can click on settings at the top right to send it to our next client. So settings, and here we'll have the title, the tag, and also the publication option. So we can publish the program. So there you go. Once that's done, the saves are automatic. You don't have to do anything. And now what we're going to do is send it to clients. We're going to go back to the Sport tab. So here we'll have the beginner program with the correct type set today. Assigned to no one, and the tags beginner and strength. And so what we're going to do is simple. We're just going to click assign. So we'll select one or more clients, Theo Varil and Clément Varil. We can also choose a start date. I'm going to set it to Monday, December 8th. Finally, we can send an assignment note that the client will receive when they start the program in their mobile app. We'll be able to see that the template has been properly assigned. To see the weights and repetitions your client will do each week, go to the client tab, then to the sport tab. And there you'll see all the sessions that have been completed on the close for your client. So here, you'll clearly see all the sessions you've scheduled for your client. And if a session has been completed, it will be checked off right here. And then if you want to see the weights and repetitions in detail to check the progress and your client's hypertrophy, you just need to scroll down to completed sessions. Here, you'll be able to see all the sessions your client completes with their weights, repetitions, notes, whether they experienced any pain, and also a graph to track progress over time. Now, how does it work on the client side? If it's a cyclical program, as I explained to you, there won't be any scheduled sessions. So it's up to them to click start my session and begin the workout session whenever they want. Now, if it's a day-based program, then on their page with the calendar, the client will have the scheduled session displayed. For example, PK poll, number of minutes, number of exercises, and they can click on it to start. As soon as it's started, they will be able to see the duration of the session at the top. There will also be notes displayed next to it. So they can send you notes if they felt pain somewhere, etc. Then next to that, they can scroll to see the rest of the session and move from one exercise to another as they wish. Their video will be displayed in large format. They can stop or start it. They can also adjust the volume or put it in full screen. Next to that, they will see the duration of the exercise, and below, they will have their history of weights and repetitions. They can see how much weight and how many repetitions they've done over the weeks, allowing them to track their progress and improve day by day. And next to that, we'll have all the exercise variations. So for example, a variation of the vertical pull is a full squat and also the close grip pull. And finally, there will be the weights they can enter or the RPE. Put whatever you want, number of repetitions, rest time, and they can enter their weights, their repetitions, and then automatically start the rest timer. And even during the rest period, they can enter their weights and repetitions to save as much time as possible. Once that's done, it's really simple. If they want, they can just skip the rest period. Then for each set of notes you sent, for example, the ones we saw, they can move to the next exercise and so on. Of course, if your client feels pain and can't continue the session, they can press end session on the right and they'll be able to finish it. Now, you know how to create workout programs with Ekklo. To understand the app even better, watch the next video.